Welcome, everyone. This is Clinton here with the DFS Minute. We're doing a special edition of the DFS Minute tonight. Normally, this is just a 60-second short on YouTube. I have an article every week with this called the DFS Minute that comes out, running through a FanDuel, DraftKings, and Owner's Box lineups. Tonight, like I said, we're doing a special edition for the Thanksgiving Day games on Thursday. We have, again, a FanDuel, DraftKings, and Owner's Box lineups. We're going to go through the Millie contest, essentially. You set one lineup for all three games, and then we're also going to jump into the individual games and just do a captain spot. We're not going to do a full lineup for each game, but we are going to go ahead, and jump in and pick some captains on there. Let's go ahead and jump into a FanDuel right away. This is the lineup that I have for FanDuel. It actually works for both FanDuel and DraftKings. So in this instance, I am just going to jump on and do it on the FanDuel side, and then we'll jump over to the DraftKings side later and show the captain spots on there for the Showdown. But starting us off, we have Dak. I really like Dak this week. I think it's rare to see him have a couple bad games in a row. I do like him this week. They're obviously in these, there's three games, and so there's not a ton of options, this week. So, I'm going to go ahead and roll with Dak Prescott. I hope he has a big bounce back week. Obviously, it could be without Cooper and without Lamb, but I think that's okay. I think that changes up the game plan a little bit, but I'm not too worried about what Dak can do on Sunday or Thursday. Then I'm going to do DeAndre Swift. I think he's an obvious play at running back this week, and he's probably going to be obviously in every contest unless you're trying to get cute. There's not a lot of running backs this week or on Thursday that you're going to want to, put in there. There's two guys probably other than Zeke that are going to get the solid carries, and that's Swift and Montgomery. Depending, it looks like Justin Fields will be out on Thursday. Dave Montgomery, he's going to get a bulk of the carries this week. I think he's your guy. At 7,500, that's still a decent price on him. And then, there's not like I said, a ton of other options there. You can't really trust Josh Jacobs. Ingram looks like he hit the injury report. They do say they're going to involve Pollard a little more in Dallas. So, that's something to monitor if you want to throw him in there. Wide receivers, I have a feeling about Deontay Harris this week for the Saints. I don't think there's anything wrong with putting Deontay in there. It seemed to be, getting a little more targets as the weeks come on. And he's obviously the most talented with the football. I think if they get him the ball, there's obviously some speed there. And Troutman's out now. They're going to be relying on some receivers even more. And I think Deontay at the price of, 5,200. What is he in DraftKings? He's at 3,700. He's a really good dart throw this week. I like him in there. Mooney, he's obviously going to be also, another chalk type play. He's, he had a monster week last week. The targets went way up. There was like 16 targets for him last week. But I think depending on his injury, looks like he was, questionable with some foot stuff going on. I do like him no matter what this week. One thing, I did play around with it earlier. I took him out. So if you didn't want to do Prescott at quarterback and you did want to do Josh Allen, the most expensive option, you could. And then, you could look at Marquise Goodwin if Allen Robinson's out in Chicago. He had 100 yards last week as well. Andy Dalton came in and showed a little consistency, I think, for them and kind of got them going a little bit. I don't think that would be a terrible option for you. If you really didn't want to, do the chalk play, you could put in Goodwin there. And then I'm going to go with Cedric Wilson in Dallas. I don't think CeeDee Lamb's going to play. Other than that, I just don't think he can clear the concussion protocol. He wasn't on the field again today in practice. I just don't think he's going to play. I think Wilson and Gallup are the guys. Wilson is cheaper, 56 on FanDuel, and then we have 3,500 on DraftKings. That's a steal for a guy that's going to see a lot of targets. And I like to at least stack somebody. I think he's the guy you want to stack there, on Thursday for those games. Then at tight end, it's a tough spot this week on tight end. I mean, if you want to go with Waller and spend the money, I think you can, but I'm going to go with Hawkinson in this situation. I just like the play against the Bears. Excuse me. But I just like him there in this week. I think he's going to see a lot of targets. I know a couple weeks ago he barely had any, and then that leaves us in the flex spot with Stephon Diggs. Obviously, he's been a money play. He's been scoring a lot of touchdowns lately. I like him in that spot. You have the money to spend there, and you could even have more. Like I said, if you took out Mooney and put in Goodwin there, and put a Josh Allen, you'll still have some money left too. Cowboys defense, they got to the Chiefs last week. I think they'll do it again this week against the Raiders, and I don't have a problem with them there. Like I said, this lineup can go both on FanDuel and DraftKings. You can fit all these same exact players in there. Let's jump over. We'll actually jump over to an owner's box lineup, which they added. They usually don't have a single game contest or a single day contest. Usually it goes through the whole weekend when you set up a lineup. But this week they're just doing a Thursday contest. I like Simeon this week. He's been pretty good. I think he's QB6 since he came in even for the Saints. We're going to keep Swift and Montgomery and Mooney in there. I tried to keep it the same. They all fit there. Then Deontay Harris again and Hawkinson. In one of the extra flex spots, Tony Pollard. Like I said, they came out today and said they might try to use him a little more. I like him this week. Zeke, he just feels like sometimes, as consistent as he's been in his career, that it's just a little bit of a struggle. And Pollard just kind of seems like the fresh guy in that he's the guy that, they want to use, but they're afraid to use. And I like Pollard this week in that situation. And then we have, Gabe Davis in another flex spot. That's a complete dart throw. He hasn't done a whole lot. I think 2 weeks ago he had 100 yards finally. But at the prices on owner's box, you need to fit him in there. I like him in that spot. And then the super flex spot, we're going to risk it with Carr. You can fit two quarterbacks in, two guys that not everybody's going to have in their lineups. I think Allen and Prescott are probably the safe plays. And then, we'll throw Carr in there in that super flex spot, and roll with it on there. I like him this week, even though I have the Dallas defense going in my other leagues, I think it is safe. You can play two players obviously in the same, in the contest with only 3 games going on. But then, jumping over onto DraftKings, we'll go to the contest here, and there's a individual showdown essentially for each game. This is the early game here. I save those so we can throw people in there if we want. And so we have your captain spot for this game. I think there's probably only 2 solid options in that. You're going to go with either Mooney or Swift. Obviously, Swift's going to be the most expensive. I like him the most of almost all the players this on Thursday. 2 weeks in a row of 130 yards. It's hard to beat that. I think he's going to repeat that or at least come close to it. And if not, he'll have 5 or 6 catches for 60, 70 yards. Obviously, that's going to be a chalk play. A lot of people are going to be using him. The guy to keep an eye on in this game, however, though, if you wanted to take the big risk and the big gamble, if Robinson is out, which, I think he will be, is Goodwin. Alongside Mooney last week, he also had 100 yards, had a big touchdown. I like that play. And the Bears did announce that. I think Fields was Nagy pretty much said today that Fields probably, wasn't going to play. And Dalton seems to be able to get those guys the ball because he's going to sit in the pocket and actually throw. You're not worried about him running around out there. So I do like that. Even in your Thursday lineup with all 3 games, I do think that you can go ahead You could even play Dalton if you wanted to. I actually think he's going to have a decent game against Detroit, and he comes at a really good price. But yeah, that's what I do. I do Swift and Mooney are probably my top two options. If you didn't want to be so chalky and you wanted to take the risk, Goodwin's a guy I would look at depending what what's going on coming up to the game time. And then we'll go back over to the middle of the day game here. That's the Dallas Vegas game. I think I like Wilson a lot this week. I don't know if I'd risk it and throw him in the captain spot. Prescott's a guy that I would put in there in that captain spot. If you're looking for a guy for the Raiders, if you're going to risk it, I think I'd actually put Renfrow in there. I could see a 8 to 10 catch game for him. He might be the only guy that they can get the ball to against Dallas. But obviously Carr's there too. He's at a good price still, 15,000. That would free you up some space to be a little more flexible in those spots. I do like that. But yeah, Prescott's the guy I'm throwing in my captain spot if I'm making lineups. And then Renfrow potentially, if maybe, in a smaller contest or something like that. We'll jump into the evening game. This is the one that they're featuring. I think this is their Millie for the Thursday night. Yeah, the highest one, the 250 to the champion. It's obviously worth monitoring if Kamara's going to play or not. Diggs is a guy I'm playing in my captain spots in this game. I could see maybe a couple of rushing touchdowns from Allen too, which would obviously make him incredibly valuable. Other than that, I don't see a lot there. If Kamara's playing, he's the other option. But other than that, Diggs, he's the guy that I want in that spot, this week. But yeah, that's what I'm looking at. I do like Deontay Harris. If you want to take that flyer, even excuse me, Dawson Knox. He's a guy that Allen does like to target him. It probably worth a shot if you really want it. But Diggs is a guy putting in there. Kamara if he's playing for the Saints. If you're setting a couple lineups, or whatever. Just going over some values and some honorable mentions for the main contest. Going back to that, I do like. I have Dalton. He's at 7,200 on FanDuel, 5,500 on DraftKings. I wouldn't fault you for trying to get him in there over a chalky quarterback. Pollard, same thing, 5,900 and 5,600, respectively. 59 on FanDuel, 56 on DraftKings. Nothing wrong with either of those guys. Emmanuel Sanders and Dawson Knox, those might be worth a dart throw. I don't think Sanders has produced all that much lately after starting the season off very, pretty strong. But he's the guy that, a guy that's always worth taking a stab at because you never know when he's going to have 80 yards and a touchdown. But Dawson Knox gets those targets. I like him. Those are my lineups for the week, or for Thursday, I should say. Prescott, DeAndre Swift, Montgomery, Harris, Mooney, Cedric Wilson. I think he's a nice gamble in Dallas. TJ Hawkinson. I think they're going to go back to throwing him the ball. I think they realize that's their target. Stephon Diggs, which you can fit in the flex spot in both these contests. I like it a lot. And then the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah, that's what I got. That's what I got for this week. I hope you enjoy your Thanksgiving. And you have a good Thursday. Remember what you're thankful for. Truly love doing this with the IDPguys.org. That's where you can find most of my work. I'm thankful for my family, my kids. I really love doing what we're doing here at IDPguys.org. We do have a special right now for the end of the year, $9.99 for the rest of the year on our site to get full access to our rankings. And that includes some start-sit articles, injury reports, things like that that are very valuable. That could be valuable to you winning your IDP league. And we also have some offensive rankings on there. Go ahead and check those things out. I hope you win some money this week. Thanks for tuning in here today. You can find this article tomorrow, the DFS Minute. And then each week I do also have a show called DFS Time with my buddy Will. We're here usually weekly setting those lineups for the Sunday slate. Go ahead and tune into that. We'll be back next week doing that after some travel this week. Thank you. Have a safe travel. Enjoy your time with your family.